course, because now we have to put everyone back in the places where they qualify, of course, that is. Your thoughts on Bottas to Alpine? That's the latest rumour. My latest rumour. I thought it was going to Cadillac, but never mind. Well, potentially they might be sacking somebody like Cola Pinto, because it sounds like Briatore was very keen to get him in. And very keen to get him in, and of course, not so keen now that he's had a few difficult races in, so maybe there will be a spot at Alpine in the near future for a Bottas. Then it would be great to have him back on the grid, of course. Bronze might have just dodged the rain with this lobby restart, says Tube as well. Well, hopefully the rain will be sorted back out there, of course. It definitely was a wet start to the Grand Prix, wasn't it, there? As we go through the Alex, your thoughts on me and Ginger in McLaren? We are both wonderful in 100% then, says Mushroom. To be fair, I think you'll be absolutely brilliant in the McLaren as well, then, although you're in the Red Bull then for the 100%. So there we go. Yes, good stuff indeed. Almost pulled me out there, but I managed to catch it in just a jiffy as well then. Yeah, there we must want to get the lobby sorted then. Now, whether it got to be the same, says Mushroom as well then. Well, to be honest, I think he's trying to sort himself out, but he's got to sort the lobby out first, hasn't he? And then he's got to sort the lobby out first, obviously get the grid sorted, and then sort the weather out as well. And so, yeah, it'll be done, but just give him a bit of time. It's his first time doing this, of course, so he's got to try and muddle his way through. I think he's got Farf and Smithy then in the party chat helping him out as well then. So we'll have to wait and see then how that fares as well then. Just needs to sort out the weather machine and we can crack on then for the race itself then. How dare you, Mushroom, then? I should be in the Alpine. I'm quicker than a hiccup then, says yeah, as we haven't sorted the weather out. Sort the weather out. Don't tell people to don't go yet, everyone. The weather has not been sorted out yet. So yeah, hang on. Right, bear with us whilst we get ourselves sorted. And no, don't ready up just yet, guys, because we need to sort the weather out. Oh dear. I tried. I tried. I mean, what can I do? It says it's a question mark. All right, well, we'll crack on then with what we got then. To be fair, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see then. To be fair, we'll get started then. It'll probably be nice and sunny now, to be fair, as well. That should be very nice indeed. I'm very disappointed, says Balin. Oh, dear. Yes, what can you do then? But there we go then. We get ourselves restarted then for the race as well. And we will be underway then in jiffy then in Japan then. For the start of the Japanese Grand Prix in just jiffy. Then, of course, we had to qualify and done and dusted. Then we had to do a lobby restart as well. Then, and yes, of course, don't forget your setups in. And we will get ourselves just a quick message in from the admin then to get your setup sorted first. Then, and then do not click ready up. Then wait for the admin in the Discord to confirm. It is very rainy once again then at the start of this Japanese Grand Prix. Got so far in the end, the mushroom always matters. Don't forget setup, says Rosa Sky then. Bronze, remember your setup, says Kiki as well then. And don't ready up then until the admins have said to go in the Discord as well. They're good. I think they restart with the same tyre then. So there we go. Fantastic. Well, it's definitely raining, so that's good. So let's see then how it's going to unfold then in this next part of the race then. Lee Westbrook qualifies for the 153rd Open at Royal something there. I'm not sure. Good stuff indeed. Right. Have we got any action coming up then? I think, of course, drivers then getting themselves loaded back in, then setups loaded on as well, then that sort of thing. And of course, getting everything ready then for the start of the race. And we will be momentarily underway then. We've had a bit of a break in between qualifying and the race then, but not 24 hours as we usually do in real life F1, thankfully. Now we can crack on then and have a look and see what everyone's doing again this time as we go through there. Everyone is on the wet compact tyres and even reflection this time, so that's a bit cheeky, but unfortunately it's the way we've got to go then, as reflection ends opting for the wet compact tyres this time. Ballot then is still going for the intermediates then in the Alpine. it didn't work out too well on that start. Then it looked like he went very wide then into the first couple of corners there on the previous race start. But of course, has been aborted. Then as we go through, then it looks a bit sprayy out there, if that's a term. Very sprayy indeed. So there we go. Right then, we'll crack on in. I lost the stream. 1 second. Goodness me, this technology is overtaking me, and my brain is very not good. Right then, good stuff indeed. Then here we are. Then in the formation map. This time, the actual formation map as well. Then I believe Marsky is in the car. Yes, he is, and I believe Umapro is also in the car. Yes, he is. Fantastic. That's what we want. So we want all 20 drivers on the grid then. Hopefully nobody else is lagged out in this formation map as well then. Yeah, we'll get ourselves started then. Possible strategies then. It's a wet or a wet then for the 2-stop. So we'll have to find out then what the strategy is going to be like then, potentially, if it starts to, or if Ballard has called it right as well then here, the intermediates then, if it starts to dry out then during the first stint, then the intermediates will be a good call then from the Alpine driver then. Reflection though has opted for the wet compound tyres, and of course did start on the intermediates then on the previous lap, and he took the lead into the first corner as well there. So interesting stuff indeed. Then we'll have to wait and see and play it by ear, or play it by eye actually, to see what's going on out there. But I can't really see because I'm very old, and I can't really hear because I'm also very old. And there we go then. Everything else is sagging, but there we go. It looks wetter, says Ginger Rage. Not sure inters are the way to go, says Ginger Rage also. So Ballard might be struggling then in this first stint then, but unfortunately it is very difficult. And it's not on Kiki as well then, because the lobby then didn't set is trying to get the settings right, especially in changing conditions in the race. Is absolutely appalling. You can't really just tell it to do something. It has to be very much programmed specifically then, and it takes a while, as we found out. But hopefully this time get all 20 drivers then off the starting blocks and in towards the race as well then, as we're just waiting for 2 drivers to get themselves lined up on the back of the order then, and we can crack on then for the Japanese Grand Prix version 2 of bronze, that is. Here we go then, 5 red lights coming on here in Japan then. The 5 red lights are on, the 5 red lights are out then, and away we go then for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a slow start on these wet compound tyres. Heading in towards turn 1 then, everyone seems to have got themselves away unscathed for the time being then, I believe, I hope. Here, there's all sorts of drifting then through the first corner then, and Rocket Lee is lost out to Jamie. Then Jamie's up in a P2 then with a fantastic start. He's up 3 places, is Jamie, storming through the field then. Yellow flags in the background. There was an issue then for DeCanco, I think it was, then going down the order there. Unfortunately for the Red Bull driver, then he's struggling in the wet conditions in this first stint then, in this first lap, I should say. Mask is going to gain 3 places as well, and up into P5 then, he's storming along. Where is Ballard then? Ballard on the intermediate compound tyres is struggling then. Those intermediates are not working then at this stage of the race. Then Sam then has gained a place on Stephen Anthony, then he's dropped down 3 places. Sam has passed Ballard then into Dunlop then, and up into P10 then for Sam. Then down in front, Reflection has lost the lead. Then Jamie is storming off into the distance on these wet conditions. Goodness me. McLaren's flying up there. Yellow flags. Vintage has had an issue.
I don't have the data for that, I'm afraid.
Backing away quickly enough, though. He must have had an issue for the first and second Degners there. Alpine going a bit wide then, it looks like, of Ballard potentially there as well. Then goodness me, Ballard struggling on these intermediate conditions there as well, heading through the hairpin. Then Cornaz has passed Stephen Anthony. Then both these two are battling side by side then as we go through. Then Stephen Anthony's taking the place because he got a bit screwy then for the Mercedes driver, then heading in towards the there's a lot of dirty air there. There's a lot of things going on. Then Stephen Anthony trying to sneak down the inside. Then on Ballard, then he's got himself through then up into P11. And Cornaz then next to try and get himself past the Alpine, who is really having a good time then on these intermediate compound tyres. Then the only driver to start on the intermediate compounds then for Ballard then in the Alpine then, but he's now pulling a bit of a rolling roadblock then at this point of the race. Then potentially if he starts to dry out, then he could be in the money then, but it's going to be difficult. Goodness me. And almost into the back then was Sirius Russian then on his teammate there to go through the Casio triangle. Then Ballard holds on to P12 for the time being, but he might be under pressure then from Cornaz, then heading onto the main street then in towards turn 1 as well then. Goodness me, Kamara race that evening. Sean then, it's not Sean, it's me. It's Knowlesy then, unfortunately, then you're stuck with me then tonight as well. Was a Sky, Smithy and Marv Steele then Marski's dropped out from P5, then he's lost out then to the Ferrari. The kicks out, I believe, there as well. Then Rocket Lee has passed his teammate Reflection, 2.8 seconds the gap. Then Jamie is storming off into the distance here in the McLaren. Then fantastic stuff indeed from Jamie. Then keeping that car, he's drifting that car through Dunlop. Goodness me, it's incredible car control then from the McLaren driver, and looking very good indeed. Then Jamie then as well. Then Don Dan's lost 3 places. Then he's down behind Marski then. We go through into lap 2, then everyone has got themselves through unscathed there, which is fantastic stuff indeed. Then Ballin's been put under pressure from Goddard, then Goddard couldn't sneak through into turn 1 though. Ballin then holding on to that P12 for the time being. Wow, it's going to be very tight indeed. Then as Mushroom is now next to join the fight as well. Then here comes Mabro right behind as well. Heading into the hairpin now, then Goddard's trying to sneak around the outside of the Alpine of Ballin then, and up towards the spoon curve. Then can he get on the power? Then can he get a move then along the outside? Then Ballin's going to be struggling on those intermediates, pushing the Alpine through the corner there as we go into spoon curve once again. Then onto the second lap of the race, and diving down the inside, not quite then for Goddard's, I should say. Can he sneak through at another part of the spoon curve then onto the final part of the corner? And now can he get on the power earlier than on the wet compound tyres? Then he's got some good speed then on the traction, I should say. Goodness me, heading up towards 130. They're going to be side by side through here. That's going to get dicey, especially in these wet conditions. But Goddard thinks of it better of it, I should say. Then Mushroom, there's contact between the Alpines there as Mushroom then is getting involved with his teammate as well. Then of course heading through the Casio triangle. Then Ballin, I think, backs out of that move then to let Mushroom go through, and up into P13. My goodness me. Jamie is flying, says Hammer Time as well. Then Jamie is 4 seconds away. Then Marski's taken 2 then into turn 1 and 2 as well. Then brilliant stuff indeed then from Marski, up 2 places, sorry. He's up 4 places there overall, of course. Then he's up 2 places, then passing Smithy and Sky then through turn 1 and 2. Then Jamie is 4.6 seconds ahead of the pole sitter then of Rocket Lee. Then Rocket Lee then is charging on. Then he's got a gap then to his teammate Reflection. And all these drivers have been struggling with wet conditions, apart from Jamie, who is absolutely loving it out there into the second deck there. And under the bridge then goes the McLaren then, keeping that car under control very nicely indeed. Then is Jamie then, but he is it's very treacherous. It's on the limit there. Smithy Almighty then has passed Sky then into the second deck. Then that's an interesting move. But up into P5 then for Smithy Almighty as well then. And here we go then into the hairpin then on lap 3. We've got some movers down the order. Then it's Liam Lee passing Jake the Slayer then for P17. As it stands, then Kanka then had a difficult start, has dropped down 3 places then into P19, then Vincent as well, then dropped down to P20 unfortunately, but he's dropped down 6 places, my goodness me. Sky and Smithy then carrying on their fight then into the spoon curve this time, and the kicks out, but this time back ahead on the Ferrari as we go through into the back straight then as well. Then let's see who's going to be fighting then in towards 130. Then out in front, the gap's starting to extend then between all the drivers at the top 5. Not so much then with Smithy, Almighty, Dynamo Dan, Winnie, Hungry Styles, Sam, Stephen Anson then all charging along then, stuck up behind this battling pack then between Rosa and Smithy then, who have been switching places then very regularly in the first few laps heading down the hill. Then Sky then getting a bit twitchy then on the curve as well there, and that could open the door then potentially. Then Dynamo Down though is on a charge, and let's see what he can do there. The Williams then getting closer and closer then to that Ferrari heading in towards turn 1. I think he's a bit too far back to make a move, but he's gaining, and he's got a bit wide then, and that could open the door for Winnie then to fly through, and San as well. Then good Mike and Sweet. Oh dear, no, not San, sorry. No, Dynamo Dan's got himself back on then. He's lost out of place to the Ferrari of Winnie though, and now the Ferraris can try and charge on as well here. My goodness me. Wow, it's action-packed, to say the least. That Liam has passed Ray Lash, and then Liam is on a charge now as well. Then after a bit of a difficult, well, not a difficult start, I should say, for Liam, but it's a slower start, maybe a more considered start then for the Haas driver. And now maybe now he's choosing his time to go for it then in the Haas, then heading through sector 1. Then he's trying to keep that car under control. Then it's very difficult indeed. Then gaining on balance, of course, balance on the intermediate compound tyres. We've done the position changes. Let's have a look at the tyre situation. Then 3 laps, of course, for everybody on their tyres as well. Then, but balance on the intermediate compound tyre, and potentially if it starts to dry up then in this race anytime soon, then Ballin could be on a charge as well then, but at the moment it seems to be struggling then on those intermediates then compared to those on the wet compound tyres. Not compared to Jamie then. Jamie is 6 seconds clear then of the rest of the field. Then he is absolutely loving it in these wet conditions as well then. Is it me, or are those wow, I thought he was going to go sideways through 130R there, and wow, it's brilliant stuff indeed from Jamie. Then he is absolutely fine out here tonight so far. Then it's fantastic, and the gap has come down. Then I think maybe that 130R escapade then has woken up Rocket Lee as well. Then, and Jamie's got the fastest lap of race still, but Rocket Lee. Hang on a minute, Rocket Lee has decided to turn on the burners. Then he's gained half a second on that previous lap as well. Then, so that is pretty good stuff indeed.
5 seconds.
From Rocket Lee then, and yeah, like I said, Jamie then is absolutely storming out there, but potentially all of this drifting then is going to be wearing out the tyres then, and maybe Rocket Lee, or maybe Reflection, maybe the rest of the field even, are playing a longer game here, but it does look like, if I'm not mistaken, it does look like the rain has started to lighten around the Suzuka circuit then. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's nothing new. But yes, there we go then. Liam's got a 3-second penalty, unfortunately for Liam. Then heading into the first couple of corners, then he's now caught up to Balin as well here in the Alpine. Then Balin's still struggling along then on those intermediate compound tyres. Unfortunately, just doesn't look like the right tyre to start the race on then for Balin. And now under pressure from the Haas, then soon to be from Rear Ashton as well. Then in the Rebel coming up behind these two. And Jay the Slayer, then DeCanco and Vinci then are just cruising along then, trying to get themselves back underway then in this race. And out in front, the gap 6 seconds. It has come down then in Rocket Lee's favour then in the last few sectors, that is. Rocket Lee then is on a mission now because he gained a few seconds over his rival, or his team now, I should say, and his rival probably. Reflection as well there, but Reflection holding on to P3 very nice indeed. Then Mars gap into P4, looking good indeed as well then for Mercedes. Rosa Sky trying to gain on the Mercedes, I should say, then into the spoon curve then just over a second at the moment. Then he's dropped Smithy Almighty. Then of course those two were battling quite extensively in the first couple of laps then, but he's lost out Smithy in 3 seconds back. Now Winnie, his teammate, is on a charge. Will there be some team orders down at Ferrari then? Yes, Fernando is not faster than you, or something like that. Then Jamie says the fastest lap of race, that he is absolutely flying still then, to be fair then, so maybe I'm just mistaken then, and Jamie has it all under control then, and I don't know what I'm talking about then, which is nothing new. Then Stephen Anthony has left the session. What has happened there then? So Stephen Anthony then hoping he can get himself a new invite then and get himself back in the lobby. Then Winnie is in the pit lane. Winnie is in the pits then for Ferrari. Then that is very interesting stuff indeed. And what is this going to be then? If it's, I don't think it's damaged then for Winnie, then so potentially unless went to the back of Smithy, which would be horrible stuff for Ferrari. Bit of a bump there as well going into the pits. It's intermediate compound tyres going on Winnie's car. Then that is going to be fantastic stuff indeed to see how this is going to unfold as well. Then Stephen Anthony needs to get himself back in the lobby as quickly as possibly. Hopefully the admin of Kiki is listening then and can get him an invite to the session then as quickly as possible as well. Then Rosa Sky is gaining on Marsky then as we go into lap 6 then. Very good stuff indeed for Rosa Sky then, trying to get himself another position potentially then in the next few laps or so. But this is where we're going to see potentially more pit stops coming, I should say then, and potentially even for Balin, he can start getting on a bit of a charge now on his intermediate compound tyres. And Steve Anthony's joined back in the session. Then he's only lost a place, I believe, or maybe he's lost 2 places, I should say, to Mavro and Mushroom then, but hopefully he can get himself back in the car quickly enough then and regain the speed and the composure once again. Then kicked out of the game then, so Steve Anthony's back in the session now. Then hopefully it won't take too long then to get himself back in the car as well. And yes, he might be just in good time then to jump into the pit lane for an intermediate compound tyre then for Stephen Anthony. And he is well, he's still not in the car just yet. Then he needs to get just quick join the session and jump into. Might have to take control actually as well then, to be fair. But it won't be too long hopefully for Stephen Anthony then, because he needs to get himself in the car quickly enough then to get himself into the pit potentially. Will we see some pit stop activity then for the race leaders then? Jamie then has carried on then into the first couple of laps, and I think that was Stephen Anthony jumping into the car, wasn't it? Yeah, yes it was then. Good stuff indeed. So he stays P13. Rocket Lee then stays out then, same for Reflection as well. Then Marsky has gone through. Then we've got everyone else in the top 9 filtering through. Then top 10 now for Mushroom. Then you Mavro into P11. Then Hungry Style is in the pit lane then for the Racing Bulls team. And we've also opted for the intermediate compound tyre there as well then. So let's see what Winnie then and Hungry Stars are going to fare like as well then. Balin then has caught up then, but I think that was catching up to Stephen Anthony. And then of course he wasn't in the session then, so he would have gained a bit of time then on the Williams driver, who's now cruising back into the race hopefully. Good stuff indeed. But yeah, there we go. Then so Styles then down into P19 Vintage, also in the bits for intermediate compound tyres. A bit of a slow stop, I think that potentially, but it might be the glitch. There we go then. So fresh intermediate compound tyres for Styles, for Vintage, and for Winnie. And of course, Balin then started on the intermediate compound tyres, and is trying to get those intermediates to the window then as well. Then potentially. we'll have to find out then what the weather's going to be doing then later on in this race then. But it looks like Ballin then has made a good call then now. Oh, dearie me, in the background that was Liam then getting a bit flighty through the second Degner then and heading into the hairpin then ahead of Real Ashton then for the time. Yeah, that's close. But yes, they were good then as going for a bit of trying to go for a bit of a wet patch there to try and cool the tyres down. I think there was Liam then as he headed out of the hairpin. Then we've got Maverick going a bit wide then through the spoon curve. Then that's lost him a bit of time then to Serious Mushroom then heading on to the back straight now. Out in front, the gap staying a bit still now at 6.1 seconds. All these early stoppers will need to stop again, says Ginger Age then with a question mark then. Well, you should know better than me because I'm just a mere commentator now, it seems. I just stuck in the commentary box. To be fair, I think Sean's going to be joining us in the commentary box then for the 100% race tomorrow as well. Then unfortunately Luke then will be missing the first race of the season then, but he will be in the commentary box full time then afterwards as well then, and that will mean that I'm sharing a track. Over in the pits, then intermediate compact tyres. Winnie has set the fast lap of the race, and this is an indication that intermediates are the way to go. Then everybody who is listening to the stream, get in the pit lane. Umabra then into the box then for intermediate compact tyres. Same for Stephen Anthony as well. Then Hungry Styles has got a bit of an undercut there as well then on Umabra, I believe. And with that one extra lap then on the intermediate compact tyres has made a fantastic call then to get himself past into P15 now. Of course, there's quite a few stoppers still to come then. Also in the Kanko as well. Then it's a bit of a slow stop there. Maybe it's just the camera angle then from me, but. Nonetheless, then we are back on the way then at the Kanko then I think has lost out to Vintage, so Vintage has done a fantastic undercut there as well then for, oh dear, what's happened here then, because Rocket Lee has lost an abundance amount of time then to Jamie then, 10 seconds the gap now as well, then I think that might be some drivers then thinking about going into onto the intermediates in the top of the order then as Jamie's gone flying off the circuit there, and my goodness me, that's not the part of the circuit that we rent over there, but nevertheless then, as we have got pit stop action. No, we haven't then. Jamie's still soldiering on the wet compound tyres then onto lap 9, then he's gone faster still. Will Rocket Lee decide to call it a day then on the wet compound then and go into the pit lane? He is coming in the pit lane now as well then from Rocket Lee then, so calling it a day then on those wet compound tyres. Reflection will have to stay out unless he wants to double stack behind his teammate, but Reflection does stay out. Marvsky has also stayed out then. Rosa Sky is into the pits as well then, calling it a day on the wet compound tyres then. Still lots of rain falling from the sky here, but it looks like it is definitely it's a lot lighter than it was then at the beginning of the race as well. Then Dynamo Dan also in the pit lane, same for Smithy Almighty. Winnie then will get a nice undercut then on Dynamo Dan and Smithy, I believe, then, and potentially could get him in the range then with where is he? with Rosa Sky. Winnie then is not too far away. Winnie is past Rosa Sky as well then, so that's a fantastic call. Oh my God, then heading into turn 1 and 2 then, that's a bit drifty, let's just say that, but he has got himself past Rosa Sky. 3 lap older intermediate compound tyres, then Ballin then is right behind Rocket Lee, then Rocket Lee has come out in P7 then, the highest of the runners to a pit for all have to be on the intermediate compound tyres, and having a bit of a squirrely time through Dunlop then for the Aston Martin. Then of course trying to get those tyres warmed up then at this point of the race is the difficult thing. Just need to make sure you get them into the operating temperature window and all of that sort of stuff then, as a real Formula 1 driver should do as well. But there we are then, out in front then, Jamie leads the way then, still on the wet compound tyres then. He's not gained a lot of time then on this lap then, so potentially might be time to come into the pits for the intermediates this time as well then, making sure he doesn't go over the track limits this time as well then on the exit of 130R, which is very nicely done indeed. Heading through the Casio Triangle then, will we see a pit stop then for the McLaren team? Yes, we will then. The race leader is into the box then, and calling it a day then on the wet compound tyres then. Reflection 13.5 seconds back then. What will he be up to then in this phase then? Will he come into the pits as well then? Yes, he will. Into the box then for Reflection. Then Marvsky's staying out then. Marvsky's going to take the lead of the Spanish, the Suzuka, Japanese, goodness me, Japanese Grand Prix. Intermediates then for Jamie as well. Then the same going to be for this for Reflection, I believe. Then Goddard's also in the pits for Mercedes then, so maybe Marsky extending so that Goddard's can come in now. San also in the pit lane, I should say. Then same for Mushroom as well. Then obviously the back of San there as well. Then Rocket Lee is going to rocket through. Then Winnie set the fast lap of the race. Then fantastic start from Winnie. Then he is storming out there. Winnie then is Rocket Lee then up into P3 then. He is 9 seconds behind Jamie. Then he has got that gap down as well then from over 10 seconds as well. well. So that undercut then has worked then for Rocket League. Winnie then is up into P5 now as well, then up in front of Reflection as well. That's fantastic stuff indeed from Winnie then. He is flying out there. Oh dear, not so much there as well though, into the, oh dear, oh God, what's he doing there? As he's all over the place then is Winnie then, and that car is not under control at all, to be fair, for the Ferrari. But I think that very much scared Reflection and Lotta Sky then as we head over the Dunlop curve onto lap 10 then. Winnie then has lost out their balance, of course, is yet to pit in this race. They did start the race on the intermediate compact tyres. Jake says got their 3-second penalty, and there's a few drivers out there with penalties now as well then, as they do start to roll in as the race goes on then. Yamabra then is making my point, but there we are then. Yamabra then is on the intermediates as well then. So everybody but one now, that one is Marsky then leading the race then, is on the intermediate compound tyres here as we head on to lap 11 momentarily. But there is Jamie in the background, and he's about to catch up to Marsky then on his intermediate tyres as well then. So Marsky might have to think this is time to call it a day then on these wet compound tyres, potentially. We'll wait and see then. Oh, hello, says come on, Richard then. Hello indeed as well then. Early stoppers need to stop again then. Marsky is coming to fix them, the last of the stoppers, and Jamie retakes the lead of the Grand Prix here as well then. Brilliant stuff indeed then. Jamie is doing a fantastic job in these wet conditions. Horrible conditions indeed, to be fair, in Suzuka, but brilliant stuff. He's Rocket League sets the fastest lap of the race then. Fantastic from Rocket League, and he's rocketed back up to P2 then. Marsky is what's happening? He's been glitched in the pit lane. So there we go then. Marsky coming out to the pits now then. He's going to lose an abundance amount of places though. Smith might be a bit too far behind then Smith there. So Marsky comes out in P7 here then. Filtering out then into P7 then right behind Rosa Sky, Reflection, Winnie then, who have now all caught up to Ballot, who's back into the podium plate, or into the podium places I should say then, but of course is on much older tyres compared to the rest of the field. And Winnie is all over the back of him, heading up the Dunlop curve then as well, then into the first and second deck, and then not a move, not an opportune move, especially in these conditions as well then, as we fly through there into the second deck now. And Winnie then is looking to line up a move very quickly indeed, and I think on the Alpine of Ballin then, who's starting to struggle on his intermediate compound tyres. Down the inside goes the Ferrari, then he's held the move, then he has got the move there, I believe, or has he then, as Ballin has got a good exit as well then, and oh my God then, up the corner then we go. Something there. But never mind. They're into smooth curve then. Ballin holds on then as Winnie then is pushing him through the corner almost there, which is illegal. But you can't push the parts, unfortunately, in Formula 1, although some people would like to try it. But there we go then, heading up the hill then onto towards 130R then. Winnie then is going to have some straight line speed then to try and get himself past the Alpine. James at the part of that race once again then, heading into 130R then. Oh God, there's almost contact then, and that could have resulted in a horrible spin, and Winnie then again into the back of the Alpine. Is just pushing Ballin through the corners here. It looks like then almost as we go down the hill then to finish off lap 11, I should say, then on to lap 12 then. Rosa Sky then and Marsky have all caught up to this fight as well here then, and now the Aston Martin of Reflection is putting the pressure on Winnie then into turn one. He's got himself through, has Reflection. Oh, and Winnie then going into the back of Reflection as well then. I'm not quite sure if Winnie's realised that it's not push to pass race as well. Then it was Rosa Sky's ammunition, then Marsky snuck through then into P6 then. Good stuff indeed from Rosa Sky, from Marsky then, taking the opportune moment there as well then to sneak his way through, but Rosa Sky maybe getting a bit of a wheel on the grass there, has opened the door then. So there we go then, Reflection now up into P4 then, looking to fight for that podium place then. They've lost a lot of time then with Ballin then trying to hold on to that podium place for the time being. Oh, that's close. To go into the second deck now, and wow, as we head into the hairpin as well now as well, they're looking to try and get themselves past the Alpine of Ballin then, who's holding up these four at this point of the race as well. Now, of course, he's on much older intermediate compound tyres, having started the Grand Prix as well. Come on, Rocket then says justify there. Come on, Winnie as well. Patience says justify. Patience. And yes, exactly that then. As Winnie then getting a bit impatient on the curbs then into the smooth corner then, and maybe looking to line up a move then down this back straight then on the Aston Martin as well then, to try and retake that place, but also trying to get himself past Ballin as well here. Ballin then didn't really think about a pit stop in the near future, then it doesn't seem to be drying out then to the dry conditions completely at this point of the race, that is. And oh God, Winnie slowed the car down. And there we go then, as we head through the Casio triangle once again. Valent then is holding on very well indeed then to that position for the time being. Marsky then is looking to try and make a move then on Winnie now as well as we head down the main straight. Then Winnie, of course, is on much older tyres than the rest of the drivers around him. Reflection trying to go around the outside of Valent then into turn 1 then, and Marsky is there as well then now as we head into turn 2 and turn 3. Then Marsky has to slide behind. He wasn't far enough alongside to get himself past Reflection then as we head through the S's now as well then. Jet Stairs got a 3-second penalty then, unfortunately. And now Ian Marsky going wide and has opened the door for Winnie to try and sneak his nose back in there as well. My goodness me, then heading up the hill then towards Dunlop. And yeah, of course, Winnie then has pitted much earlier then, and it really worked out then in the early stages for Winnie then. But of course, now his tyre wear is starting to phase in a lot earlier than the rest of the field then, who of course pitted a bit later and maybe lost a bit more time than in the early stages of the stint then. But now it's coming back then to those drivers then, and unfortunately, it's not affecting. It's affecting Winnie then a bit stronger at this point as well. Right then. We're all bunched up behind the Alpine of Valent then once again then heading through towards Spoon Curve, and Reflection is on a charge then. Reflection is looking to try and make the move then into the Spoon there as well then. Marsky then waiting patiently as well, it looks like, into the final part of the Spoon Curve as well then. Now they come on the move then out on the exit then. Can they get on the power of the Valent? And yes they can, they've got more traction, they've got more grip then at this point of the stint as well then. And here comes Reflection then storming through then. He's close enough, he's closing in. And will he make a move then into the Casio triangle? Then Marsky sticking his nose down the inside there as well. Then goodness me, and oh god, there's contact. Then they're off the circuit. Then and Marsky trying to turn in. Then that Reflection then got stuck there as well and couldn't get themselves off of each other. It looks like there as we head through the Casio triangle now as well. Then goodness me, then Marsky's lost out. Then Reflection's also lost out to Rosa Sky. Then Smithy Almighty's gone through into P6. Then and all of that then has cost both the Aston Martin and the Mercedes driver quite significantly as well there. Marsky trying to sneak through as well this time then on Reflection, then up into P7 for Marsky, then down to P8 for Reflection. Then all of that shenanigans then has cost them both dearly. Will cost them both 3 or 4 positions there as well, goodness me. Because of course with all of this battling then behind Valent, they've been all continuing up behind the Alpine as well then, as we now got all the way down to almost Dynamo Dan catching up then, as well as Goddard's and Hungry Stars then very soon as well in this race then. But Valent then still soldiering on then. He's not coming to the pit lane just yet then. He's staying out then. He has of course started the race then on his intermediate compound tyres. Then Winnie then is looking to make a move as quickly as possible. Then Marsky down the inside, Smithy Almighty here. And out of the hairpin then Smithy Almighty again has got some good traction there then as we go back through. There is Smithy, then he's back through up into P6 on Marsky as well then. This little action here then, and Valent then is the cork in the bottle to say the least then as we head on to lap 15 now. Jamie then has got the fastest lap of the race, 10 seconds gap then to Rocket Lee, sorry. Valent is further 18 seconds back from Rocket Lee, and there's quite a queue forming behind the Alpine here as well as we go through into 130R then on lap 15. And let's see, well, lap 14 for these drivers I think here, as into the Casio triangle. There's a Mercedes diving down the inside then. That is very dangerous stuff indeed then, and I think you might have also got a bit of wind damage there from Marsky. Very late on the brakes then, and that could be costly indeed, I should say then, as they go through then. And Smithy Almighty then has been passed by Reflection as well onto the main straight as well, I should say then. Nobody gets themselves past Valent though into turn 1 then, and once again they're going to have to fight and stay or stick behind the Alpine driver then through sector 1 here. Oh my, it's very hot in here. It's not hot on the track temperature, I think, but it's getting hot in the helmets then of the drivers. It looks like they're going through into sector 2 momentarily then on lap 15. Tell Jamie to calm down. This is Brooksy then as well then. Jamie, calm down, mate. There we go, job done. I'm not sure he's going to hear me then or listen to me, but there we go. Winnie then looking to shape for a move, and will he make a move then? Oh my goodness me! Wow. Round the outside then, switching back then as well then on the exit of the hairpin then. Unfortunately then not enough traction then for Winnie. Of course he's on older tyres then. He's not on older tyres, the oldest tyres compared to Valent of course, but he's on older tyres then, so the traction might be difficult. Then Marsky and Reflection are switching places then. Reflection up into P6 hitting into the Spoon Curve, and Marsky then switching places then. We've got Valent and Winnie then. This time Winnie is through, is he? Yes he is. Then has he got enough electrical energy petrol there, full recovery system, energy, battery, whatever you want to call it, to scamper away though. And Ballin's got a very quick car in a straight line, as we've seen them down the main straight, then holding on to that P3 momentarily over the last few laps or so. Then and now Rosa Sky is steaming in then as well into the Casio triangle as well here. Goodness me, oh dear, there's a curve there, but no, it's all good then. Winnie then has gone so up to P3. He has a penalty to his name, then Ballin is coming back at him. Look at Ballin, then he's got some great straight line speed in that Alpine. Then is it enough to get himself into turn one there, heading of the front? There's contact there, and there's more contact between the two of them then as we go through into turn 1 and 2. Then Ballin then, I think, had to steer out of that slide, and so did Winnie as well, to be fair. Winnie then has got the place. And, well, a bit robustly then from both of them. Of course, it was a bit of an opportune move as well then from, Ballin, to try and get himself down the inside there as well, then into the first turn, which is not a very easy place to go side by side in, especially in wet conditions. And Diamond Dan has caught up to the battle here as well. Then stuck behind Ballin once again, then apart from Winnie, then who got himself, slid himself through then at the spoon. Hamilton said difficult track in the wet. Then says Hamilton, well, yes, definitely difficult track in the dry for me. So in the wet, it's but fair play indeed then to everyone who's swing drivers and still going in this race. Then putting on a shift here in Suzuka. Right then, Ballin then 1.5 seconds behind Winnie. Then oh dear, off the track goes Reflection there. That's not a good place to be going. Rosa Sky down the inside of Ballin, then into the spoon curve, has got the move done. Then Reflection next to try his luck then as well on the Alpine driver who's staying out then in this race. I just realised it's lap 17 and Ballin has yet to pit in this Grand Prix. Not quite sure what the strategy is then from the Alpine driver. Then Reflection has got the inside into 130. Oh goodness me, and Reflection's almost lost the car, and Smithy's had an issue there as well. Then contact there as well, then goodness me, and I think Reflection's ghosted then as well. I'm not sure what's happened there. Smithy then I think has some damage there as well. Then Smithy then was collected by the Aston Martin. Maybe not a very wise decision to try and make a move there for Reflection then as well. Then, but there we are. Then Nasty then got himself past everyone. Then and now trying to challenge Ballin as well. Then there's more contact between Smithy and Smithy's gone flying off the circuit there. And wow, Reflection is not in the Christmas card list then for Smithy tonight. Trying to get himself back on the circuit, then that wing damage is going to be very costly indeed. Steve Nanton's had an issue there because he's down in the E15 at the moment, still paying position. But yes, what is going on here then? Reflection is all over the shop now. Then Dynamo Dan snuck through into Dunlop, and in a P7 now as well then for the Williams driver. I'm not sure if Reflection's just having a bit of issues out there, or if he's just having some heated issues in the helmet, that is. But yellow flags then, is yellow flags for who then though is the question. Everyone's alright, hopefully everyone's alright. Just keep your heads then guys. We can get ourselves to the end of this race then in a lap's time then. Rosa Sky is pulled back up to Winnie then. Winnie is under pressure then, and Winnie has been passed by Rosa Sky. Of course, P2 in the Drivers' Championship then for Rosa. Let's see if he can get himself scampered along there, but they've got 26 seconds to try and find on Rocket Lee. Rocket Lee's got a pit stop then on the rest of the field. And Jamie, of course, has almost as well then to Rocket Lee. He's got 9 seconds then to Rocket Lee, who's actually picked up the pace then as Rocket. And looking to try and get a gap back down then to the race lead. Then can he really have enough time though in this race to bring that gap down enough though? Winnie then is trying to keep the pressure on Rosa Sky then for that P3 position. Then Ballin then still going in this race. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is here from Ballin then, but it's just been absolutely chaos then as well. Winnie is in the pit lane. So Winnie is calling a day then on his intermediate compound tyres. He's done 13 or 12 laps, I should say, on the intermediate. So Smithy is also in the pits. That wing change. Winnie then is on to intermediate compound tyres again, then back out on the way. Smithy all night, and then will have to crawl into the pits as well, get that front wing replaced then after that. Battling with Reflection, and he went flying off there at turn 1, but he already had the wing damage, I think, in this part of the circuit previously as well then. So yes, not quite sure what is going on there, but nonetheless it has been done and dusted now. So yes, Ballin is staying out then. He is just causing a nightmare for these drivers ahead of him, behind him I should say as well then. And it's starting to become a bit of a problem then, it looks like then, for those around him as well. So there we go, then into the hairpin we go then from Marsky, then trying to move, then Dynamo Dan is caught up as well into this fight, then he's got himself up into P6 then as well. Of course, the challenger leader then after the first round of the season is Dynamo Dan. Rosa Sky then is looking to try and get that championship lead then. As it stands, then he will switch himself into the P1 position then. Of course, there's still positions to be made then in this race then potentially then for the rest of the field, then Godars and Sam then switching through at the spoon curve as well then. Will we see some more pit stops? There's a McLaren, then that's Sam then having a bit of a squirrely issue then through the spoon curve then, getting himself back on the way then. As Marsky next tries luck then, trying to get himself past Ballot then into the Casio triangle. Oh goodness me, very close, but well kept under control then from Marsky. Then can he get himself a good exit then down towards the checkered line then and on to lap 19 now. Here he comes then, is Marsky then, he's on the charge then, but Ballin then, like I said, that straight line speed in the Alpine is keeping hold of that position for Ballin. The only problem that Ballin's got then is that he hasn't come into the pit lane. So he's going to be a bit of a problem, I think. Then, of course, in the wet conditions, I just realised you don't have the pit, do you? So you can try and stick it out then. Unfortunately for Ballot, it's probably not going to be the best strategy. I don't think then in this race, unfortunately for the Alpine driver there. The field is bunching up from P4 to P14, says Hammer Time then. Yeah, I think everyone's getting stuck behind. Everyone's stuck behind what's going on there. Then that's Marsky then almost to the wall then at the exit. Goodness me. And yeah, Marsky then is looking to line up. He's very close to Nick now as well. Then where is Marsky then heading into the hairpin? It's going to be dicey. Not quite too far back, as well. Oh dear, he's still gone into the back of the. He's still gone into the back of the Alpine, and the Dynamo Dan has had an issue as well. Then yellow flags, and I think Jake the Slayer's on medium compound tyres. And the rain has stopped here. Dynamo Dan then has lost out to. He's lost out from where was he? Behind Marsky, wasn't he? Then he's lost out from P6. He's down to P10, unfortunately. Then with that contact there, I'm not sure if he's got any damage then to the car. It looks like it's all intact then on the front wing there, but unfortunately, just the constant heater effect into that hairpin then has been costly indeed. Then as Marsky and Dynamo Dan then with the back of each other almost there as well.
7.7 seconds. Okay,
right, then lap 20 has commenced. Then we've got Marsky, then we've got Ballot, then I think maybe Ballot, because it seems to have dried out. Then we've got Jake the Slayer onto the medium compound tyres. I'm not sure if it's a bit early. Then Marsky is pinning in the pit lane, so maybe he's trying to call it a day then on the intermediates as well. Then for Marsky, and getting fed up with Ballot and then being in the blockade then as well. Then as we go into the pit lane, Marsky in the pits, and same for Hungry Stars as well. Then so these could be very early calls then for medium compound tyres. Then and yes, it is. Then we've got Marsky onto the soft compound tyres. That's going to be a skip and a half then for Marsky as well. Then Winnie's also in the pits, and same for Liam as well. Then in the house, then so wait and see. Then looks like the dry compound tyres are flying on those cars. Then Sam and Godars are having a scrap then, and now Dynamo Dan trying to get himself past the Mercedes, and he has done. Done not as well then. To me, it's all action here then, isn't it? As Reflection is looking to line up a move on Ballot then, and again he's got himself through into the first Degner, so forget what I was saying, it's definitely an overtaking place if the driver you're trying to overtake has 19 map on intermediate compound tyres on a drying track. I'm not sure that's really often that's going to happen, but there we go then. Sam then, oh dear, looks at the back end then, trying to get the power down out of the spoon then, out of the hairpin, I can say, goodness me, then as he's trying to get himself past Ballot is his next target. Then Ballot then has been struggling on then on those intermediate compound tyres, and Reflection has now been released, and unfortunately he's a bit far off the podium place as it stands. Then onto the soft compound tyres goes Marsky, and we'll wait and see then what the dry compound tyres are going to be doing then in this race. Then Hungry Stars having an issue at the hairpin, is going a bit slowly then on the exit then as well. Then on those medium compound tyres, then Winnie then is opted for the soft compound tyres as well then for the Ferrari. So let's see how it's going to unfold in the last few laps then, but he's struggling out there as well then, looks like for Winnie. So maybe the soft compound with the dry compound tyres completely are not the tyre to be on at this point of the race then. So far then San is also in the pit, safe for Dynamo down there. Yeah, it's a late move into the brakes there, onto the brakes, so then Serious Rush also in the pit lane as well then, so there's a few more drivers coming into the pit lane here as well. So that's that then. Ballot is staying out on his 20 lap hold, or soon to be 21 lap hold, intermediate compound tyres. 10 seconds the gap then between Jamie, who has been leading this race quite comfortably then since the first few laps there, and the rest of them, then 10 seconds back to Rocket Lee, then 27 seconds back to Ross and Sky. Ross and Sky was one of the first drivers to be stuck behind Ballot then, of course, who was struggling on his old intermediate compound tyres, but he has got himself released, and he's now 8 seconds out of Reflection, who's also got himself through. Then Ballot then is in P5, seems to be under pressure from Goddard's as well. Then Mavro then is coming through on the intermediate of Ashton, but now we've got everybody else out of the top 8 then on the dry compound tyres then. Softs then for Marsky, then Hungry Styles has been flying, has caught up then to the Mercedes, I should say. Then Jamie's in the pit lane from the race speed then, so Jamie calling it a day then on the intermediate compound tyres here as well. Rocket also in, then Ross and Sky has got quite a bit of a time to make up his mind here before he comes into the pits. Then medium compound tyres for Jamie. What is Ross and Sky? What is Rocket Lee going to opt for then as well? Then it's medium compound tyres also, and he will be out of the pit lane then before his teammate gets to the Casio triangle, I think, then for Rocket Lee. So maybe the Aston Martins will have enough time to get themselves sorted and get receiving Reflection as well here. Ross and Sky into the pits, then Reflection is coming into the pits as well now, and trying to get that Aston Martin slowed down in time. Then Ballot then is also in pit lane as well. Goddard's coming in too. Your Mavro is going to have to double stack a bit, or maybe only slightly then behind his teammate. Yellow flags out there then for somebody, not quite sure who. There we go then. Marsky then is Marsky then under pressure, I should say, then from his rival then Hungry Style then. Marsky is coming through then. Where is Ballot then? Because Marsky and Ballot were very close together then on this on the previous laps before the pit stops, and he has got himself through, has Marsky then, as now Styles. That's a tight squeeze then, but Styles then stays behind Marsky for 3 seconds going wide then, and as was Dynamo Dan then I think there as well then into the exit of turn 2. So now the dry tyres are on then, but the warnings are going to come out there as well then. As the track dries out, then the drivers have to adapt to the conditions then, and a few track limits out there as well. Yellow flags in Goddard's is off the circuit then. Where is that thing heading up Dunlop then into sector 2? Has he got any damage then to the car? Then we'll have to find out. Then we can't find out because I can't change the camera angle, which is fantastic. Let me change the camera angle. Yeah, I think there might be an end plate missing then for Goddard's, unfortunate then for the Mercedes driver then. Will he be able to struggle on then to the end of the Grand Prix then? Oh dear, that's very wide then into Decker 2 I should say then, but hopefully might moves out to rear Ashton. He's got quite a gap then to Leah then. If he can keep the car under control then with that wing damage, he might be able to sneak himself into the points paying position still at the very end of this race then. We'll have to wait until then. There's going to be 4 laps of racing to go. Yellow flag up there for an Aston Martin. It's Rocket Lee who's had an issue then somewhere. Well, he's had an issue at the exit. Rocket League, to be fair, doesn't have to worry too much because he has quite a gap then to Rosa Sky anyway. But yeah, just needs to make sure that he keeps that car under control. Then Marsky is at the fastest lap of the race and is storming along then on those soft compound tyres then in P5. Then of course Ballot then with that with the lack of penalties then we'll get that position back then on Marsky as we head into lap 23 then of 27 then. 4 laps to go then at the end of this one. Then here comes Sam, he's past Mavro then for P10 then for the McLaren driver. Then let's see what we can do then. Can he charge on? He's got Stephen Anthony then and Mavro then the next to battle for that P11 position as we go through then into the S's of sector 1. Then Smithy and Buddy sets the fastest lap of the race once again then, so it's definitely trying out up there. Your drive of the day candidates are in the comment section as well. Then let me have a look at the penalty situation first. Rocket Lee, Marsky, Rosa Sky and Jamie then are your candidates then for driver of the day. Jamie sets the fastest lap of the race then, as I say that as well. Very good stuff indeed. Everyone's going a bit deep at the head then because they haven't got their braking zones right. But there we go then as we head into lap 24 then of 27. Are the position changes looking like then. Jamie has gained 4 places and has got himself up to the lead of the Grand Prix. There's a lap car then of Jake the Slayer, I think that is then, who's just getting out of the way then into the S section then. Rocket Lee has unfortunately lost the place then from pole position, but doing a great job then in P2 then, and very controlled brakes then from Rocket Lee then for some big points points here tonight then for the Aston Martin team as well. Then Rosa Sky has gained 3 places, then it's up into P3, into podium places, I should say, as well. Then Reflection then from P2 is now in P4. Then Marsky has gained 3 places, but potentially could lose out place to Ballin then with the penalty of the 3-second penalty, I should say, then for the Mercedes driver. Then Ballin then in P6 for the time being. Then Hungry Stars has gained 3 places as well. Then and unfortunately might lose a place or 2 then to Donald Dan and Serious Mushroom then with the proximity of the penalty situation as well. Then Sanders set the fast step of race then in the McLaren. He is still on 2 places, then 6 places for Mabra. Then that penalty might be costly as well then, as he's left the session at the same time then. Unfortunately for you, Mabro, winning then in P13. Then unfortunately it was all the Real Ashton has passed Goddard as well. Then Goddard is struggling with that wing damage then, but of course still in the points paying positions as it stands, and 7 seconds clear as well. Then Umabro has been passed by Steve Anthony. Unfortunately, Umabro, the connection issues for the Dutchman as well, that has not been favourable for him tonight. The same for Steve Anthony as well. But hopefully Umabro can get himself back in the session then, and at least get to the checkered flag as well here tonight then. But that is the situation then in terms of the position changes, and get your voting for the driver.
A lejjebb, amíg a felmelegedett volna a gumi, azt most még jobban menne. Elkezdett működni. A számúnak a gát fog fogyni a végére. Még a médiumhoz képest nekem is. Ó, ennyire a szektor, fia! Húha! A pár durul.
Tyre situation in the like Rosa Sky sets the fast lap of race then. Oh dear, we've got a bit of a problem there as well. It's gone deep, then has Style, sorry, and that has been costing the Dynamo Dan. It's picked him up a 3-second penalty as well here then for the championship leader then after the first round then. Unfortunately, as it stands then, Rosa Sky is going to inherit the lead of the championship as well then.
Igen.
So,
a bár érkezik.
Dynamo Dan then is going to be directed down to P2 then overall. In the Drivers' Championship, that is, but he's not going to be too far off. But I think he can still get a good points here. I believe it is something good. I think you get 10 points or so with P6 then, or P8.
Is third.
Is something like that. But yes, so it's not a good goes down to P15 in front. So there's system then. As Hungry Stars picks up a penalty as well. Then goodness me, penalty starting to roll in then as we head on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix for our race leader then of Jamie then, who is absolutely loving this Japanese Grand Prix. Kanko picks up a penalty as well. Then unfortunately Jayla Slayer is in the pit lane, and Jayla Slayer big pass. Always got weakness, so that is why Jayla Slayer is in the pit, and that is very bad news indeed then. But he's got himself a new set of boots, then a new front wing, then away he go. Then he is heading through second to 1, then in towards second to 2, then he's got a very nice power rank of the of the McLaren as we head into the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And so far so good out here then for Jamie McLaren. Then he has been spotted.
Oh my God.
He hasn't been part of this season, unfortunately, for the full thing. He did make the season in Australia, but he didn't need to, I don't think, because he doesn't look too unfazed by it then, or too fazed by it there. Ballot and Mars gets switch places, then Ballot up into P5 now. Passing the Mercedes then, it might be starting to struggle on his soft compact tyres here, and that could be problematic because it looks like Style on the medium compact tyres are starting to swarm then as well for that position potentially later on in this final lap of the race, and potentially as well then Marsky then holding on then to Ballot for the time in for 100 Styles now next to try his luck then as well then, and go through then, of course the 2 run ahead of him on the soft compact tyres. Yellow flags for somebody there. It is Jake the Slayer then, I'm not quite sure. It might have been the house of Vintage as well then, but I might have been the started the final lap of the Grand Prix then. Jamie then has been flying in Japan. Then Rocket League then in P2 looking very good as well as in P3 then. Great stuff. He then has taken the point well, of course. If you hold on to it, that is as Hungry Styles and Dynamo down and battling then through the spoon curve. And wow, who's going to hold on to it is the question then. Dynamo down then, I think it's got a bit more extra speed then in towards 130R then, good the speed. And Styles then is down to P8 then, that was very close back between the 2 of them, then into the track. Williams knows Styles there.
There's a gap beginning to form, let's make the most of it.
Getting past me there as well then. there we go. Good stuff indeed as we head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix now. Jamie then is flying through the smooth curve as well. Then this is the final time they're going to go the smooth curve tonight. A fantastic race indeed then from Jamie then. He has been absolutely on point then in these horrible conditions to start the race with. And that gave quite a substantial margin as well. Then Phil then spending second fast enough stage then. Will Jamie reply back then on this final Grand Prix? The track definitely trying out very nicely now as well. So the car is going to get faster and faster then, Tom. We're not too worn out now. As we head through the Casio Triangle for the final time then, and the hill towards the Chagrin back. Jamie wins. Well, what have you done then in front of you? No, he's not. He's right then. Jamie wins at the Japanese Grand Prix for round 2 of season 10. Then fantastic result then from the Casio then crossing the line by 14 seconds or so then to win the Japanese Grand Prix as well. Then brilliant stuff indeed from Jamie. Then brilliant race all round then from the McLaren driver as well. As well then. Rocket League does get podium, then P2 then from Rocket League, a fantastic performance well then after a difficult first race of the season, then bouncing back well indeed to get himself.
Ott van. Apád leízlett. Biztos lesz sok büntiet. Amikor Interen voltam, nem kedveltek. Kemény volt, de biztos vagyok benne. Biztos vagyok benne, figyeld meg, hogy lesz bünti, ott az Interesen azért ott keményen feltartottam a népet. Mert én Interről rajtoltam, ők meg vetekről, de hát bejött, bazd meg. Bejött a stratégi. Annyira a geci Laci még nem is voltam szerintem, de biztos szétszidnak majd. Miért nem én vagyok a driver, tudja? Hát ez szomorú. Na, mondjad. Hát az, de gondolom azért, mert hogy volt kontaktom. Egy-két kontaktom azért volt, nem tudom, majd meglátjuk. Én szerintem tisztán mentem, és nagyon keményen küzdöttem.
In Suzuka then, of course, we'll be on to Australia tomorrow night for the first round of the 100% League, which is going to be absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Then there is your classification as well then for the bronze race.
Engem is, szerintem is.
2 of bronze season 10 as well then. So Jamie then
Végére bemelegettem. Meg a végére előztem is azért. Na jó van, lövöm a streamet, beszéljünk majd Messengeren. OP. Sziasztok!